everyone, I'm Olivia and I'm here today in Austin, Texas with Juan, one of our top real estate investors, and he's ready to share his journey, how he became a real estate investor himself. Juan, what a pleasure to have you here with us today. Please introduce yourself and how long have you been a real estate investor?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Olivia. My name is Juan Padilla, and I've been investing in real estate since 2019.
So you mentioned that you've been a real estate investor since 2019. So let's go back in time and see, how was your first deal?
Yeah, so my first deal was actually partnering with another investor and actually doing a wholesale deal. I was able to follow up with the lead and actually close the contract. And then we had to go and now find a buyer. Well, being new, I didn't have a huge buyer's list. So I had to really depend on someone else that had a lot more experience than I did. And so we partnered together on actually finding a buyer together and then of course splitting the proceeds.
Okay, and with that particular deal, what was the challenge that you found with that one?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is that it was in a smaller town. So obviously the smaller town, a lot less investors are investing in that area.
Which town was it?
This was in San Angelo. Because of that, we were trying to find, of course, investor buyers. I was trying to find on my own, really trying to figure out how I can actually dispo this deal or sell the deal, if you will, to an investor buyer. Just couldn't, really find anybody. So I started again working with our network and trying to find someone that has a lot more experience, has a bigger buyer's list, and is able to help me through the process of finding a buyer.
And with that particular deal, how much money did you make?
Yeah, so in that deal, I think we made close to about 10,000. Yes.
What was the aha moment throughout your first deal? Was it putting the house under contract or getting that first check?
Yeah, that first check definitely gets you, to open up your eyes to what's possible in this real estate investing world. I actually went and physically got that check at the title company. So walking out of it, I just kept looking at it and I just kept saying to myself, man, and the time that it took really wasn't in comparison to, working 40 hours a week. It was really, really a good deal to be able to work with somebody and be able to partner and still get a good profit.
You made $10,000 for that particular deal. If you were working at your job, how long did it take you to be able to make that money?
Oh yeah, it'd be over a month, easy.
Well, with your journey as a real estate investor and having another career, how was the transition between the job that you were doing before?
Yeah, so before I became a real estate investor, I was actually working in the information technology space for over 27 years.
How did you find the discipline? Because I know it's challenging because you have a full-time job and you have a family and add on another career. How were you able to do the transition?
One of the biggest things that helped was that I was actually working from home. So that was a huge help because what that did is it brought me back my drive time. But really the driving force is, the need and the desire to achieve my ultimate goal, and that is time freedom.
And I think having that willpower is great, but I think in finding the right network and the support and see all your colleagues doing it, and then you're not alone. Is your family being supportive of you with the journey? When you told your family, hey, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to become a full-time entrepreneur, right, how was the reaction, the transition?
The initial conversation, of course, with my wife was, one of kind of a shock, a surprise. She knew that at some point, I'd want to, do this full time. But ultimately, my wife has been very amazing, very supportive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And throughout the journey, what was your fear?
The biggest fear was always just, do I have enough? Am I gonna make it to be able to provide, for my family?
And would you quit your job earlier today, or would you do exactly the same?
I think I would probably do it exactly the same. I think the timing was just right when I did it.
We can never buy time back.
Yes.
We can learn and grow, but we can never buy any minute back. It doesn't matter how much money we have.
Yes, that's
and
right.
And because I know that, I'm like, I cannot waste any more time.
Yeah. I love that quote that says, fortune favors the brave. And I think that's exactly what you did.
So Juan, throughout the process, you mentioned a little bit, what keep you motivated? Is it because the way you grew up, the way you grew up with your parents working, on the heat and doing the minimum wage activity? Does that motivate you to do things differently than what your parents did back then? Where is the transition there?
Yeah, definitely. My focus is to do things differently than what my parents did, for sure. But as I've learned what real estate investing can do for my family, for my generations, it really has given us the opportunity to now raise our children differently, so that our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and everyone else after that has a completely different mindset.
And when I say anyone can become a real estate investor, regardless where they come from, regardless how much money they have on their bank account or their credit score, unfortunately, the majority of the people does not know the opportunity that we are talking about. So I really hope to change as many people's life, because real estate has that power. But I do believe we are changing our generation for sure. And I try to say to as many people as possible, just go and explore, go learn a little bit.
Right.
Regardless of which stage you are in your career. Is that part of what keeps you motivated as well?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely does. I mean, I want my children to know that they have a completely different future in front of them.
And what moment in your life throughout the process did you realize real estate actually was really going to change your life?
It was definitely that first paycheck. That first paycheck on doing it on a part-time basis. I knew that there was real power, that there was a real opportunity right here.
And have you found out what are you really good at it?
Yeah, so I really love to network. I love connecting with people. I love meeting new people. And so through that comes the opportunity of business. When I first got started, I had, really no experience, no knowledge.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. And so partnering with somebody who had that experience now allows for me to start getting my educational background and experience, right, and knowledge. And now I'm escalating in my knowledge and experience. And so what I'm working now towards is doing the same for others.
Do you remember what was your aha moment that you said, wow, this is it. I love this topic. Do you remember some of the strategy that Phil was teaching us? Do you remember what was yours?
Wow. I mean, I remember when he put it up on the board and showed us each strategy, right? And then how much you could potentially make in each one of these strategies. I think that's what really opened up my eyes to the possibility of what real estate investing can do for my family.
So Juan, I'd love to know a little bit about this particular deal that you are working on right now. How did you find this deal?
Right now, I'm actually working on dispoing a multifamily unit.
Okay, so is it under contract?
Yes, it is under contract right now.
Okay, did you close on this deal yet?
No, we are in the middle of negotiations.
So let's talk about this deal that you have right now. How did you find this deal?
Yeah, so I got it through pay-per-click.
Is that your marketing strategies that you're using?
That is my main lead generation marketing strategy that I'm using, yes.
You were working on your full-time before you became a real estate investor.
Yeah.
How long would that take for you to make 35K?
Yeah, 3-4 months. You think about the time that we're spending there in those 3-4 months, you're talking your life. You're talking, several hours of working for somebody else, several hours you're spending behind a wheel and being in traffic and going crazy. And you just made that in, 30 days.
So you went to college?
No, actually I did not.
You did not went to college?
No, I did not go to college.
Why not?
Well, life was actually a little bit sped up for me. We ended up, my wife and I actually ended up becoming pregnant very young. And so for me, there wasn't really a big opportunity.
You had a lot of diapers to buy.
I had to really start moving. I had to start moving and providing for my family. And I didn't have really the time and the opportunity to be able to go to college. So I had to do something quick.
If you look back from when you used to have your full-time job, now that you are a full-time real estate investor, how would you compare your lifestyle from back then?
Yeah, so it's definitely, provided us opportunities that, we didn't have before. A lot of it is the flexibility of time. There's a lot of things that I can, sometimes do during the day that I wouldn't be able to do before, where like I can manage my time now, where not someone else is telling me how to manage my time, right? In my W-2, I got all these deadlines, all these projects I have to meet, and it's on their time, right? I have to meet their time frame. And I supported a global company, which meant that sometimes I had to work 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening to support another area of the world. So guess what? A lot of that was taking away time from my family.
So what do you do for fun with your family today versus what you used to do before? So what is fun for you today?
Yeah, so fun for me is traveling. First and foremost, we've been able to travel to some places that we've never been able to travel to before. Because a lot of it's just, when you're working, on a W-2 job, you got all these projects and things to do. And then on top of that, you got a family, right? You got things to do with them. You got, sports and all of those things that you're doing. So like now trying to find the time, right? Trying to find the resources.
Do you think your family is proud of you today?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, I've heard it said from them many times. I love the fact that we are open to share that with each other. Just as much as my wife has told me how much she's proud of me, as how much I've been proud of her, because she decided to go back to school after this whole time. Here's another thing, another advantage, right? Another benefit, if you will, that's come out of this opportunity is it allowed for my wife to go back to school now, because now she said, okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, I'm proud of her for doing that.
You're saying your family's proud of you. Are you proud of yourself?
Yes, I am. I'm proud of the fact that I did something that I set out to do, and that was my first goal, was to leave corporate America.
So, how many deals have you done since you became a real estate investor?
I think we're at about 25 to 30 deals.
How many deals are you planning to get it done by the end of the year?
Yeah, so we would like to double that by the end of the year. That would be a stretch goal.
And how does that make you feel when you do say those numbers out loud, that you have done that many deals?
I'd look back at the beginning of this journey, and I remember just saying to myself, man, if I can just get that first check, that first paycheck to make all of this, validated, And so I always go back to that moment.
Would you consider yourself that you are living the American dream now?
I would say so, yes. I think a lot of people focus on the American dream being, you go buy a house and, the white picket fence, and that's the American dream. I think for me, the American dream is much more than that.
What is the American dream for you? Because as you just said, American dream,
yeah,
not just for us immigrants, even for the people that was born and raised in this country. What is the American dream? For me, it might be different for you, but what is yours? Yeah,
for me, it's time freedom. It's having the time to be able to do what I feel that God's called me to do, and what I feel like my purpose is in life.
What advice that you have for anyone that wants to change their lifestyle as a real estate investor, and why would someone want to become a real estate investor?
There's so many things that we want to do, so many opportunities that are out there. You can get lost very easily with so many different avenues. But real estate investing is just such a great avenue for us to leverage and to use, that has been proven, right? And also being a part of a network like this, that you can do life with the like-minded people. Then really, once you make a decision, then all you have to do now is follow that up with discipline and consistency.
So now that you have achieved all this success, what is next on your agenda?
Yeah, so for me, what's next is to continue to build our company.
Any final words on our interview? Would you like to say anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I just really want to encourage anybody that's out there that is thinking about, this vehicle as something that can provide an income for them, that it's totally possible.
And who would you like to thank you for you to be here today?
Oh, of course, Phil and Shanoa, for sure. I'd like to thank you as well for reaching out. Really, I mean, I just was pleasantly surprised by the phone call. I love this network. I love what people are doing within this network, and how we're all, helping each other out. And that, I think that's the strongest thing that can come out of a community, is just how well people can work together. We might not always agree on every single thing or every single facet, but we're learning from each other.
Who else would you like to say thank you?
Yeah, so I definitely want to thank, my family for providing, the support all these years. They've always been behind me. My wife, my children have always been supportive, have always pushed me to be better. They have always pushed me to do, what I've set out to do.
How many of your family members are working with you in the real estate?
Yeah, so right now my wife is my partner. She's done, a few little things, administrative tasks like that for us in the business. And I do have my youngest son working in the business as well as my dispositions manager. And, occasionally he does cold calling as well. So he's getting a taste of this real estate world.
How does that feel as a father to be able to work together with their son?
It's great. I mean, it's such an awesome feeling to be able to know that as you're learning and you're growing, now you're bringing along your son to see what it is that you see.
I think this is every parent's dream, to bring their kids for the ride and work together and getting to know each other in the real world.
Yeah. And, you go through these phases, right, as a parent, when you're raising your children, you go through these phases of, the baby phase and, the child phase and teenager phases, right? And then you get into the adult phase and it becomes a completely different relationship, because now you're having conversations at an adult level, right? You're having, they're your kids still, but you're not going to talk to them the same way.
Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to come in and share your journey as a real estate investor. I can't wait to see you keep growing, and I'd love to interview your son next. So this is awesome.
Thank you very much for having me, Olivia.
So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.